Hey there, welcome back to our channel. Emotions are essential parts of the human experience. They help us to process information, make decisions, and interact with others. Fear is one of the basic emotions that all humans experience. It's an unpleasant feeling that occurs in response to a perceived threat or danger. Sometimes fear can be helpful. It can alert us to potential dangers and help us to take steps to protect ourselves. For example, if you're driving a car and you see a red light, but you don't stop, your brain will trigger a fear response that causes you to slam on the brakes, thus avoiding a collision. However, at other times, fear can be more of a hindrance than a help. When we feel afraid, we may become paralyzed by worry and anxiety, which can make it difficult to take action or make decisions. While some fears are more rational than others, many of our fears are irrational, meaning that they are not based on reason or logic. We may find ourselves worrying about unlikely outcomes or fearing things that are completely unrealistic. With that said, here are 10 of the most common fears that people experience. 1. Fear of public speaking. Public speaking is one of the most common fears that people experience. This fear, known as glossophobia, affects people from all walks of life and can be triggered by the need to speak in front of a group of people. People who suffer from glossophobia often have a strong negative reaction to public speaking situations, such as sweating, trembling, increased heart rate, and even nausea. This fear is usually rooted in a fear of negative evaluation or a fear of saying something foolish. However, with practice and preparation, anyone can become a good public speaker. 2. Fear of heights. Another common fear that people experience is a fear of heights. This fear, known as acrophobia, is an intense and irrational fear of being at a high place with a risk of falling. People who have a fear of heights often avoid going up ladders, climbing mountains, or riding roller coasters. In some cases, the fear can be so intense that just looking at a tall building or a cliff can trigger a panic attack. Fortunately, there are ways to overcome this fear, such as gradual exposure therapy. 3. Fear of spiders. A fear of spiders is another common fear that people experience. This fear, known as arachnophobia, is a type of animal phobia that can be triggered by the sight, presence, or even the thought of spiders. People who have a fear of spiders often feel a sense of dread or disgust when they see one and may take steps to avoid them, such as staying indoors during the day or wearing insect repellent. In some cases, a fear of spiders can be so intense that it can interfere with everyday life. If you do have a fear of spiders, know that you're not alone, and there are resources available to help you overcome this fear. 4. Fear of snakes. Similar to a fear of spiders, a fear of snakes is also very common. This fear, known as ophidiophobia, is an intense and irrational fear of snakes. People who have a fear of snakes often feel a sense of panic or terror when they see one and may take steps to avoid them, such as staying away from areas where snakes may live or wearing protective clothing when hiking. Like other phobias, snake phobia can be treated with professional help. 5. Fear of flying. Flying is another common fear that many people experience. This fear, known as aviophobia, is an intense and irrational fear of flying that can be triggered by the thought of boarding an airplane. People who have a fear of flying often avoid flying and may choose to drive or take another form of transportation instead. The fear of flying can be caused by a number of factors, such as a fear of heights, a fear of losing control, or a fear of enclosed spaces. However, the most common cause of aerophobia is a fear of death. People who have a fear of flying often worry about the possibility of a plane crash, even though statistically it is very unlikely to happen. Despite the fear, air travel remains the safest form of transportation. 6. Fear of the dark. Another common fear that people experience is a fear of the dark. This fear, known as nyctophobia, is an intense and irrational fear of the dark that can be triggered by darkness or the absence of light. People who have a fear of the dark often avoid being in the dark and may keep their lights on at night or use night lights to help them sleep. The fear of the dark can be caused by a number of factors, such as a fear of animals that come out at night or a fear of what may be lurking in the shadows. However, the most common cause of nyctophobia is a fear of being alone. People who have a fear of the dark often feel more vulnerable in the dark and may worry about being attacked or harmed. 7. Fear of losing control. Many people fear losing control, whether it's losing control over their own actions or over the events that are happening around them. This fear can lead to anxiety and worry, as well as avoidance of situations in which they may feel like they are losing control. For example, some people may avoid driving on busy roads or flying on airplanes because they feel like they are at the mercy of other drivers or the elements. Others may struggle with making decisions because they fear that they will make the wrong choice and that things will spin out of their control. Ultimately, the fear of losing control can be a paralyzing force that prevents people from living their lives to the fullest. 8. Fear of commitment. Many people also fear committing to things, whether it's committing to a relationship, a job, or a lifestyle. This fear can be caused by a number of factors, such as a fear of making the wrong decision or a fear of being trapped. For example, some people may struggle to commit to a long-term relationship because they are afraid of settling down and giving up their freedom. Others may avoid making big decisions about their career or education, because they are afraid of committing to a certain path and not being able to change it. Ultimately, the fear of commitment can prevent people from forming deep connections with others, and from pursuing their goals. 9. Fear of failure. This is one of the most common fears that people experience. This fear can be caused by a number of factors, such as a fear of rejection or a fear of disappointing others. For example, some people may be afraid to start a business because they are afraid of failing and disappointing their family and friends. Others may struggle to succeed in school because they are afraid of failing to meet their parents' expectations. Ultimately, the fear of failure can prevent people from pursuing their dreams and achieving their goals. And 10. Fear of death. Finally, one of the most common fears that people experience is a fear of death. This fear can be caused by a number of factors, such as a fear of the unknown or a fear of losing loved ones. For example, some people may be afraid of what happens after death or afraid of dying before their loved ones. Others may struggle with existential questions about the meaning of life and the inevitability of death. Ultimately, the fear of death can be a powerful motivator that drives people to seek out new experiences and to appreciate the time that they have with loved ones. There are many other fears that people experience, but these are some of the most common. Fears are a normal part of the human experience and can be helpful in some situations. However, when fears become irrational and excessive, they can be debilitating and prevent us from living our lives to the fullest. So did you recognize any of these fears? Which ones did we miss? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this video helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with those who might benefit from it. And don't forget to hit the notification bell icon to get notified whenever we post a new video. The references and studies used in this video are added in the description below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in our next video.